Chosen one, before you begin to question the silence, before you start to wonder why certain names faded, why certain faces disappeared, why the energy you once felt around J people suddenly turned distant, cold, or completely absent. Understand this. Nothing was taken from you without divine intention. What feels like loss is often a sacred cleansing. What feels like abandonment is often protection in disguise. And what feels like confusion is often the beginning of a higher clarity being formed within you, one that cannot coexist with the same energies that once surrounded you. Chosen one, there comes a moment in your spiritual journey where God no longer allows certain frequencies to remain in your life, not because those people were entirely bad, but because they were no longer aligned with who you are becoming. You see, J people carried a certain vibration, a certain emotional imprint, a certain energetic pattern that once matched where you were. But growth is disruptive. Elevation is isolating. Transformation requires separation. And when your spirit begins to rise, anything that cannot rise with you must be removed, even if your heart is still attached to it. You were not meant to carry everyone into your next chapter. That is a truth many struggle to accept. You thought loyalty meant permanence. You thought connection meant forever. But divine alignment does not operate on human expectations. It operates on purpose. And when someone's purpose in your life is fulfilled, their presence becomes optional in the eyes of God, even if it still feels necessary to you. The removal of J people is not punishment. It is purification. Your spiritual frequency is being refined, like gold placed in fire. And just like gold, the impurities must rise to the surface and be removed. Some of those impurities are not habits or thoughts, but people who unknowingly carried doubt into your space, who subtly disrupted your peace, who delayed your clarity, who distracted your focus, who fed parts of you that God is now trying to silence. You didn't notice it before because your spirit was still learning. You were still in a phase where lessons came through relationships, where growth came through interaction, where understanding came through emotional experiences. But now, God is shifting the way you learn. Now, your growth requires solitude. Your clarity requires silence. Your strength requires separation. And that's why it feels so sudden. One day they were there, texting, calling, laughing, sharing energy with you, and the next it feels like a distance you cannot explain. Conversations became dry, effort became one-sided. The connection began to feel forced, and you tried to fix it, didn't you? You reached out, you questioned yourself, you wondered if you did something wrong. But the truth is, this was never about something you did. This was about something God is doing. God will sometimes remove people from your life in a way that makes it impossible to hold on, because if it were gentle, you would try to keep them. If it were mutual, you would negotiate their presence. If it were clear, you would find closure too easily. But when it is divine, it often feels confusing, because your mind is trying to understand something that only your spirit can recognize. Your spirit knows. Your spirit felt the shift before your mind accepted it. There was a discomfort growing within you, a subtle awareness that something was no longer right. Maybe you ignored it. Maybe you tried to silence it. But it was there, and that was the beginning of your purification. Chosen one frequency is not just a concept, it is a reality. Every person carries an energetic signature. Every interaction either elevates you or drains you. Every presence either aligns with your purpose or distracts you from it. And when God decides to elevate your frequency, He becomes very selective about who is allowed to remain in your environment. J. People were part of a chapter, not the whole story. They served a purpose. Maybe they taught you something about love, about trust, about boundaries, about yourself. Maybe they showed you what you needed to heal. Maybe they reflected parts of you that needed to evolve. But once that lesson is complete, their presence becomes a weight, not a support. And God does not allow unnecessary weight on a soul that is meant to rise. You may feel lonely right now. That emptiness you feel is real. The silence can be heavy. The absence can echo in ways that make you question everything. But understand this: emptiness is not a void. It is a space being prepared, a space where new energy will enter, a space where your true alignment will manifest, a space where distractions no longer exist. God is not just removing people, He is recalibrating your entire environment. Think about it. How can you hear divine guidance clearly if your space is filled with conflicting voices? How can you trust your intuition if you are constantly influenced by others' opinions? How can you step into your purpose if you are surrounded by energies that are comfortable with your old self? You cannot. That's why this had to happen. Chosen one, elevation requires sacrifice. Not the kind you choose, but the kind that is chosen for you. And the hardest sacrifices are not things, they are people. Because people carry memories. People carry emotions. People carry versions of you that you are no longer meant to be. People knew a version of you that God is now asking you to release, and sometimes their presence makes it harder for you to let go of that version. They remind you of who you were. They pull you back into old patterns. They trigger old emotions, and even if they mean well, their energy is tied to a frequency that you are outgrowing. So God steps in, not to hurt you, but to help you. Not to take from you, but to transform you. Not to isolate you, but to align you. And in this process, you may feel misunderstood. You may feel like no one truly gets what you're going through. You may feel like explaining yourself is exhausting because even you are still trying to understand it. But this is what spiritual growth looks like. It is not always loud and visible. Sometimes it is quiet and internal. Sometimes it looks like distance. Sometimes it feels like loss. But it is always leading you somewhere greater. You are being tuned, chosen one, like an instrument being adjusted to the perfect pitch. And anything that creates distortion must be removed, even if it once sounded beautiful, even if it once felt right, even if it once meant everything to you. Because where you are going requires precision. It requires clarity. It requires a level of purity in your energy that cannot coexist with confusion, inconsistency, or misalignment. And this is why the removal feels so absolute. It's not partial. It's not temporary in the way you think. It is intentional. It is necessary. It is divine. And deep down, if you are honest with yourself, you can feel it. That this separation, as painful as it is, carries a strange sense of rightness, a quiet knowing that this is part of something bigger. A subtle peace hidden beneath the confusion. That is your spirit recognizing the truth before your mind fully accepts it. You are not losing people. You are shedding frequencies. You are not being abandoned. You are being refined. You are not being left behind. You are being prepared. You are being prepared for a level of spiritual alignment that cannot be accessed while holding on to what once felt familiar, but is no longer meant for you. Chosen one, the deeper truth is this. God is not just removing people from your life. He is removing the version of you that depended on them. There was a version of you that needed their validation, their attention, their presence to feel complete. And that version, as comforting as it was, cannot survive in the next dimension of your calling. Because where you are being taken, your strength must come from within, not from who stands beside you. That is why this process feels like a stripping. It feels like something is being taken from your identity itself. Because it is. The attachments you had were not just emotional. They were spiritual anchors tying you to a lower frequency. And now those anchors are being lifted, one by one, not gently, but deliberately. You keep asking, why all of them? Why did it seem like every J energy, every connection carrying that same vibration began to fall away at once? Why not just one or two? Why did it feel like a complete clearing? Because partial purification would not be enough. If even one remained, it would keep you connected to the old frequency. It would reopen doors that God is trying to close. It would keep your spirit in a state of confusion, going back and forth between who you were and who you are becoming. And God is not a God of confusion. He is a God of clarity. So when He cleanses completely. And I know, chosen one, that part of you still wants to reach back. Part of you still replays memories, still wonders if things could have been different, still hopes for reconciliation, still questions if maybe you misunderstood everything. That is your human side trying to hold on to what your spirit has already released. There is nothing wrong with feeling that way. It means you are real. It means you cared. It means the connections were meaningful. But do not confuse emotional attachment with spiritual alignment. Just because something felt deep does not mean it was meant to last forever. Some connections are seasonal, Eve. N, if they feel eternal in the moment. And J people in your life were part of a season of learning, of awakening, of becoming aware of certain truths about yourself and the world around you. But seasons are not meant to be permanent. They are meant to prepare you for the next phase. And now you are entering a new phase. A phase where your discernment is sharper. A phase where your energy is more protected. A phase where your peace becomes more valuable than any connection. A phase where you no longer chase, no longer force, no longer beg for understanding, no longer try to make things work that God has already broken apart. Chosen one, there is a sacred loneliness that comes with elevation. It is not the loneliness of being unloved. It is the loneliness of being set apart. It is the space where God removes all external noise so you can finally hear Him clearly. And in that silence, things begin to change within you. You start to see patterns you never noticed before. You start to recognize how certain interactions drained you, how certain conversations left you feeling heavy, how certain people subtly influenced your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions. You begin to understand that not all connections are equal. Some are divine, meant to elevate you. Others are karmic, meant to teach you. And others are simply distractions, meant to test your awareness. J people fell into categories that your spirit has now outgrown. And this is why they had to be removed together, because they were connected not just by name, but by frequency. They carried a similar energetic signature, a similar role in your life, a similar impact on your journey. And once that frequency became incompatible with your evolution, all expressions of it had to go. This is deeper than coincidence. This is orchestration. This is God aligning your external world with your I, an eternal transformation. Because what you carry inside must eventually reflect outside. If your spirit is rising, your environment must rise with it. If your awareness is expanding, your surroundings must reflect that expansion. And if they don't, then they must be cleared. That is what you are experiencing right now, a divine clearing. And yes, it feels uncomfortable. Yes, it feels uncertain. Yes, it feels like you are in between worlds, no longer who you were, but not fully who you are becoming. But that in-between space is sacred. It is the place where transformation happens. It is the place where your identity is rewritten. It is the place where your dependence on others is replaced with a deeper connection to God. Chosen one, you are being taught how to stand alone, so that when the right people enter your life, you will stand with them, not lean on them. There is a difference. Leaning creates dependency. Standing creates partnership. And God is not preparing you for dependency. He is preparing you for divine alignment. The people who are meant for your next level will not confuse you. They will not drain you. They will not make you question your worth. They will not disrupt your peace. They will recognize your frequency because they are operating on it too. But before they can enter, space must be created, and space cannot be created without removal. That is the part most people resist. They want the new without releasing the old. They want alignment without separation. They want elevation without sacrifice. But it does not work that way. You cannot carry old energy into a new dimension. You cannot hold on to expired connections and expect fresh alignment. You cannot remain who you were and become who you are meant to be at the same time. So God makes the decision for you. He removes, He separates, He clears, and in doing so, He protects you from what you cannot yet see. Because not all J energies were just misaligned. Some were assignments meant to delay you, to distract you, to keep you in cycles that feel comfortable but lead nowhere. And once you reach a certain level of awareness, those assignments are no longer allowed to stay. Your spirit becomes too valuable. Your purpose becomes too important. Your path becomes too clear, and anything that interferes with that must be removed, even if it hurts, even if you don't understand it, even if part of you still wants it. Chosen one, one day you will look back and realize that what felt like rejection was actually protection, that what felt like loss was actually liberation, that what felt like confusion was actually divine redirection. You will see how different your life became once those energies were gone. You will notice how your mind became clearer, how your emotions became more stable, how your intuition became stronger, how your peace became deeper. And you will understand that none of that would have been possible if those connections had remained. Because sometimes the greatest block to your growth is not something obvious, it is something familiar. Something you have grown used to, something you have convinced yourself you need. And God, in His wisdom, sees beyond your attachments. He sees what is truly aligned with your destiny, and He acts accordingly. Chosen one, do not rush this process. Do not try to fill the silence with distractions. Do not seek replacements just to avoid feeling alone. Because this phase is not about replacement. It is about becoming so aligned within yourself that when new connections come, they are not based on lack, but on alignment. They are not based on need, but on purpose. They are not based on emotion alone, but on spiritual compatibility. And that level of connection requires a different version of you, a version that has been purified, a version that has been tested, a version that has learned how to let go. You are becoming that version now, through the silence, through the separation, through the removal, through the purification of your spiritual frequency. And even though it does not make complete sense right now, even though part of you still questions it, even though part of you still feels the absence deeply, something within you is changing. Something within you is awakening. Something within you is rising in a way that cannot be reversed, rising in a way that no longer fits into the spaces you once occupied, rising in a way that demands a different kind of life, a different kind of environment, a different kind of connection. Chosen one, you may not fully realize it yet, but the very fact that those J people are no longer present is evidence that your energy has already shifted. People do not just leave without a reason at the spiritual level. When your frequency changes, it sends a signal, an unspoken message that says, I am no longer available for what I once tolerated, what I once entertained, what I once aligned with. And those who cannot meet you at that new level will naturally fall away, not always with explanation, not always with closure, but always with purpose. There is a silent language in the spirit realm, one that does not rely on words, but on vibration. And right now, your vibration is speaking louder than anything you could ever say. It is creating distance where there used to be closeness. It is creating endings where there used to be continuity. It is creating stillness where there used to be constant interaction. And even though your mind tries to interpret it as loss, your spirit understands it as alignment. You are not being emptied for no reason. You are being made available. Available for deeper clarity. Available for connections that do not require you to shrink, to adjust, or to compromise your growth. Because one of the greatest truths you are beginning to understand is this: not everyone who walks with you is meant to walk with you forever. Some walk with you to reveal you to yourself, and once that revelation is complete, their presence is no longer required. And people revealed something to you. They revealed what you tolerate. They revealed where you needed boundaries. They revealed parts of your emotional world that you had not yet explored. But now that those revelations have been made, the chapter is closing. Not because it was meaningless, but because it fulfilled its meaning. Chosen one, there is also something deeper happening. God is strengthening your ability to trust without physical confirmation. Before, you relied on signs you could see, on people you could talk to, on connections you could feel in a tangible way. But now, you are being pulled into a level of faith where you must trust what you cannot see. Trust the removal. Trust the silence. Trust the shift. Trust that even without clear answers, something divine is taking place. Because this is how your spiritual authority is built, not in moments of certainty, but in moments of surrender. And right now, you are being asked to surrender, not to confusion, but to process, not to loss, but to transformation, not to emptiness, but to preparation. So when you feel that urge to go back, to reconnect, to reopen doors that have been closed, pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I acting from alignment or am I acting from attachment? Because attachment will always try to recreate what God has already removed. But alignment will guide you forward, even when forward feels unfamiliar. You are not the same person you were when those connections existed. And deep down, you know it. Your conversations have changed. Your thoughts have deepened. Your tolerance has decreased. Your awareness has expanded. And that version of you cannot fit back into what once felt normal. That is why going back feels uncomfortable now. That is why even if you tried, it would not feel the same. Because you are not the same. Chosen one, this is the cost of elevation. You lose what you thought you needed to discover what you truly require. You release what you were used to in order to receive what is aligned. You walk through solitude so that when you are surrounded again, it is by purpose, not by coincidence. And as this continues, you will begin to notice something subtle but powerful. You are becoming more at peace with your own presence. The silence will not feel as heavy. The absence will not feel as painful. The need to fill the space will begin to fade. And in that moment you will realize something profound, that God did not remove people to leave you empty. He removed them so you could finally experience yourself without interference.